Today was a very good day. I was just really, really happy. I got on the scale this morning and I saw that I weighed 198 pounds. It's the first time I've seen that in years, since about 2001. Back when it was really 2000 when I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. And I didn't really understand what hyperthyroidism was about. And I was given medicine, but I didn't really take it. And then I got to a point I was losing about 10 pounds a week. And I didn't pay attention to it until I was pregnant with my daughter, my oldest daughter, and that's when I, had a wake-up call. Okay, I've got to be careful because I'm having a baby, and I was very blessed because it really could have went worse. And I knew, okay, I got to take care of myself. But anyway, by 2005, thank God, I was in remission and I didn't have to take any medicine anymore, but I was divorced and, separated and divorced by 2007. But I was a single mom, and I had to take care of my children. And I was so focused on them, I wasn't necessarily focused on my weight. Then thank God I met Rob, and it was just great. I still maintained the size I was. I think I was like maybe about 229, 230. But over the years, I was just focused about fixing everyone and everything around me. By 2020, I was 385 pounds. I was looking at redecorating. I was looking at doing so many things. It was funny. I looked in the mirror on the side of my desk, and I looked at my face from the side. And I was like, who is this person? I could not believe I let myself get this big. I mean, my face was huge. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm focusing on trying to redecorate the house. The redecoration need to come from, within. And I went to the doctor, thank God, and weight loss doctor. And I talked to him, and he said, you can go for the gastric sleeve, and that'll help you a lot. And I said, okay, great. And so I had this surgery because I wanted control. And I had the surgery, and I went down from 385 to 262, about 262, 263. And sometimes I went down to 255, depending on, what I was doing. But I was also, I started, working out really heavy. I was lifting weights. I was running. I was doing it all. And I mean, my shape was there, and I looked smaller than the 262. And it was great. And then I had knee pain, and I couldn't understand this knee pain that I had in both knees, and at times I couldn't walk. I had to stop running. And that's when I went to the orthopedic surgeon, and that's when he said, hey, you got to have knee replacement. And I thought, man, this is just throwing a kink in my style and what I'm trying to do. But of course I had to do it because I wasn't going to be able to run anyway. And so I had that. And, 1 year I had it on my left leg, on my right leg first, and then on my left leg on the following year. And I thought, man, it's just putting a kink in it. I got to try to, it's therapy. And then when I finally kind of got there, and I had to have the other one, replaced. But fast forward, then there was menopause. Here it is. I was eating right. I was doing, working out. I was doing everything that was supposed. I'm like, what in the world is going on? I cannot drop these pounds. This is crazy. And that's when I went to my my doctor, and she says it's menopause. It's and I was just like, And so I talked to her, and she suggested that I go on Zepbound. And I went on Zepbound, and that really helped. From Zepbound, I got on, got back on my routine, and I was, of course, walking and working out, but also I was already eating right. I wasn't into the eating heavy, and because that was not me anymore. I couldn't eat all the junk and all the other stuff. That was not me. But anyway, I was able to drop the weight pretty quick. Surprisingly, I was just like really surprised. Within 2 weeks, I'd already started. I dropped like 10 pounds. And then within a few months, I had dropped 50. And I was like, wow, this is, really good. And I went to the doctor, and she said, you're the first patient I've had to lose that much weight. Even the nurses were excited that, oh my goodness, you've lost weight. And it seems like you did what you were supposed to have done, but we already knew you would. And when I'm focused, I'm focused. When I want something, I will do it. You're going to see that that's what I'm doing. That's what I want, and it's going to happen. And to see it again, to see it this morning, I was just like, wow, this is great. But again, it was a lot of healing. It didn't happen overnight, so I don't want people to think, oh yeah, she did this, and oh, it's just because she did blah blah blah. It took work. You can have the gastric sleeve, you can have Zepbound. All of it takes work. You still have to work out. You still got to eat right. But I needed help, and there's nothing wrong with seeking help when you're in this season of your life. A lot of times people think it's, oh yeah, you took the easy way out. No, I know what work I did, so I don't have to prove it to anyone, of course. I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that God allowed me to see. He started letting me see me back into 2020. My kids, my youngest daughter was graduating from high school, and I didn't have her to focus on anymore. And it was interesting, even though, she's going off to college, and then my oldest daughter is in college, and they don't need me like that. And to see that, I had to focus on me, and these 5 years in focusing on my healing. Again, it wasn't overnight. All of this that you're seeing with my healing, over my eating, my overeating, and finding out, okay, why am I overeating? What am I doing? What's going on? And what I needed, where I needed the help. Then going from that to this other inner healing, and discovering who I was in God, that I am healed emotionally, physically, and showing me, but that took God showing me and showing me who I was as a person, that I am not what someone says. I am what God says. And I can have so many thoughts in my head that what people have said about me and what they've said that I am, or said who I am. And it's like, no, I know what God has said, who I am. He says who I am, and I'm healed. I'm happy. And I'm grateful, at this time in my life, having a supportive husband who had no problem with me either way. And I look at it, when I was 385, he said, I didn't see that. He said, I'm sorry, I didn't see you like that. But he and I look back on those pictures. We both look at our photos, and because both of us, of course, have lost weight. But we both look back at our photos, and we're like, wow, and he looks at it, he's like, I did not see you like that, Leslie. I didn't. He said, I see you like this always, but he's, of course, because he loves me so much, but it's in that healed state. I'm finding out who I am. And it's funny, it took all these years to get to 55 and discovering, yeah, this is, you know, I like this person. I like the weight she's at, and I like what I look like. The clothes that I can fit, and I'm happier this way. And so it, you know, whether I was at 385 or whether, you know, now that I'm at 188, it is a blessing, and the person that I am today, and that I am grateful for God and for delivering me from that overeating and getting control of my eating habits. So, you know, I'm here to encourage everyone, you know, you're on a journey, and that journey, you know, it may only take you a year. There are people who have just done it in a year's time. That, you know, of course, wasn't me. It took me 5 years. But you know, however long it takes you to get healed, that's however long it takes. You do it. I mean, you know, and my healing is still a journey. I'm not, you know, complete, you know, because I'm still here. So I've got so many things to do, and so many ways to, you know, to go to a complete healing or whatever God decides to do in my life. So, but I just want to keep you guys encouraged to know that it's a journey. It's not a marathon that, you know, happens overnight. But I'm just grateful. I'm happy that, you know, to be here and to see that, you know, I hit a goal, my other goal weight, and that was to be up under 200. And so, and yeah, I'm tall, so, you know, it looks real different on me. But I'm just, again, I'm just grateful, guys. And, you know, just be encouraged on your journey through life and your healing, and in your way of finding out who God says you are. And you are healed, and you have been delivered, and keep speaking that. You know, because like I did a video the other day, is that, you know, you're not, sometimes your spirit is further along than where you are natural, in the natural sense. And so you can see in the spirit how small you are, but, you know, you haven't caught up, it hasn't caught up with you on the outside. And so I saw this weight, and I wanted to be this weight, but it took 5 years to get to that. But, you know, it was a journey. And so just, again, just make sure you know it's a journey. It's not a marathon. And if it takes you however long to lose it, it takes you however long to lose it. But I just wanted to keep you guys encouraged, and thank you guys for encouraging me all along this journey that I've taken. So, guys, be blessed, and remember who God says you are.